Oh,
misfits,
Bob
the
Dylan,
rebels, the troublemakers,
Dr. King,
the round pegs in the square holes,
Richard Branson,
the ones who see things differently.
John Lennon,
They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo.
Thomas
You
Edison,
can quote them, disagree with them,
Muhammad Ali,
glorify or vilify them.
Ted Turner,
About the only thing you can't do is ignore them. Because
Gandhi,
they change things. They push the human race
Imelda
forward.
Earhart,
While some may see them as the crazy ones,
Alfred Hitchcock,
we see genius.
Catherine Dunham,
Because the people who are crazy enough to
Henson.
think they can change the world
and Picasso.
are the ones who do.
So that's the gut instinct that I have that made McCarthy is crazy.
I love that. That was wonderful. Well, in terms of this truth be revealed statement, I was going through a really, really difficult situation at that time. We were having fighting at a leadership level, and we had to bring in the board, and our employees and our customers were stressed out. I mean, they were, concerned. I mean, we have 3 co-founders that are fighting, and they can't agree on a particular issue. So the truth be revealed was my calling out for some information that would guide me towards my goal. And my goal in that situation was that this all be resolved for everyone's highest and best good. I wanted a resolution that kept the employees safe. I wanted a resolution that served our customers well, that didn't put our vendors at risk, that all of us could agree to. And we came up with that. It worked out that way, but I had to stay focused on the goal. In order for intuition and your subconscious to show up and kick in and help you, you actually have to have a goal. It's going to always show up to help you achieve your goals or to keep you safe. But if you float around life and you don't have a goal and you don't revisit it daily, what ends up happening is you start putting your attention on things that you don't want. And unfortunately, when people say statements that are designed really to, I have a salesperson that used to work for me, and she used to always say, I really hope I'm not going to be late for my business meeting. Well, what ended up happening is she was always late because that's what her subconscious and intuition were doing. They were helping her to accomplish what she was focusing on, which was this idea of being late. So all she had to do was change her wording of her goal, Rick. She just had to say, I'm so grateful that I'm always on time or early for my appointments.
Wow.
And she started to become. Things would happen. She'd get this really strong thought, wow, I should check the traffic report before I set out for my appointment. And sure enough, she would avoid a big accident on the route that she was normally going to take. Or she would get this idea to wake up 10 minutes before the alarm went off and use that time to prepare herself to be able to get to her meeting early. So all we have to do is use our words, our thoughts, and our emotions to really focus more of our time on what we do want and not what we don't want.
Right. Wow. Now, and a lot of great teachers teach this. Now, tell me how this applies to the principles that you teach. I'm a fan of Napoleon Hill, and Napoleon Hill has one of his favorite quotes is, every adversity, there's an equal or greater benefit. How does that apply with the principles that you teach, May?
Right. Well, what I do, one of the chapters in my book is entitled Jump Starting Your Good. And the principle of giving first what you want to be receiving into your life is part of that. So if you feel like you're lacking appreciation, start appreciating people. Pick up the phone, send an email or a text, and let somebody know every day how much you appreciate them. And as you're giving that, and you're focusing on that, what's going to happen is you're going to notice more possibilities of appreciation. If you're lacking health and you want better health, think of a recipe you could cook for your family that is healthier than what you normally eat. Or ask one of your family members or your friends to, instead of watching that additional television show or sitting around talking, maybe you could have your visiting in a walk around the block. But do something that is giving what you want to receive, and it will start flowing back into your life. In regards to your quote for Napoleon Hill, also in that same chapter, I talk about how when we are in this partnership with the source of intuition, what we're able to do is have a goal that says, someday I'm going to look in the rearview mirror of life and see that I had to go through that difficult time in order to experience the even greater good that I'm experiencing today. And I have countless stories of that. One guy who is in my book, his name is Sam, and Sam got fired from his job. And he was the only one that was providing for he and his 3 children.
Wow.
And he got fired, and he was really upset, really angry with his former boss, and actually kind of scared that he was going to be prevented from getting another job because maybe his boss would, tell all the competitors not to hire him. And so in this process of practicing what I describe in the book, I kept telling him, you can have a goal of knowing that someday you're going to look at that situation and realize you had to go through it in order to get the things that you want. And his goal was a better job and higher pay. Well, he eventually did get that in a really miraculous way, and finally came to peace and said, you know what? I did have to get fired by that guy. I did have to lose that job in order to have this better job today.
Wow. That's pretty cool. Now, how can these principles one of the challenges that I see with people, and I'm not really speaking about people, even myself, the habit of self-discipline. How can you use these principles and this intuition to improve on that area, the habit of self-discipline?
Well, this daily practice is something that many famous people, famous athletes, professional musicians do every day. And when I teach workshops, and I travel all over the world teaching thousands and thousands of people at workshops, how to incorporate a daily 25 to 30-minute practice. And the gist of it, in a real nutshell, is you have decided to partner with your source of intuition, and just so you know that intuition is a success tool, I can give you some examples. Bill Gates said that often you have to rely on intuition, and Oprah Winfrey, she said that she has listened to that still small voice of intuition her entire life. And the only times that she's made mistakes is when she didn't listen. And Steve Jobs said you actually have to have courage to follow your heart and your intuition. And I think you would agree that those 3 people are incredibly successful. But that idea of revisiting your goals every single day in a 25 to 30-minute practice will help people to achieve their goals in really remarkable ways. But here's the best part, Rick. It ends up being really, really easy because now this partner that you have is going to do its job, and which is really most of the heavy lifting. Your job is to figure out what it is that you want. My source of intuition, I've given it a name, and I call it the CSO, or Chief Spiritual Officer, because everybody that's in my C-suite is a valuable advisor, like my CFO or my COO or my CIO. And so I gave this source of intuition a name. And when I decided to partner with it, and I describe how to do that in the book, what you find is that your job is to figure out what it is that you want and be grateful for it in advance. The CSO's job is to create the path and tell you step by step how to get to your goal. You either follow the step, or if you're scared or you don't understand it or it doesn't make any sense, what most of us do is just do nothing. But in this practice, you can't do nothing anymore. You have to just say, I don't know if this message is from you, but if it is, I need another sign. And sure enough, you'll get one if you ask for one. And then you take the step, reach your goal, turn around and look at the path that you were led on, and you will shake your head and laugh and giggle with delight, because you would have never, ever thought that those steps would be the steps that you would take to achieve your goal.
Wow.
So 25 to 30 minutes every morning. Set the alarm early. Do it before the kids get up. Do it before you have to go to work. But every single morning, and after about the third or fourth morning, you actually get so energized and excited. You wake up before the alarm and you want to do the practice.
I'm laughing because I remember that experience. I was in a training camp in Colorado Springs in the boxing Olympic Training Center. And I remember the first few days, they would knock on the door, like, I think 5 in the morning. I was, like, still sleeping. And I was so tired to get up. But then after a while, I would be laying there waiting for the knock to come on the door.
Mm-hmm.
So I could definitely identify with that. Let me identify ourselves, May. We are
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
And my name is Rick Young, and this is another segment of What's in Your Hand. And my guest today is May McCarthy, and she's the author of The Path to Wealth, 7 Spiritual Steps for Financial Abundance. May, do you like art?
I love art.
I love art. Okay, so I'm a sports person, and when you look at someone like Muhammad Ali, when he was at his best and he was dancing, it was beautiful and it was a work of art. Michael Jordan playing basketball, the way he performed on the court was a work of art. Today we have a guy by the name of Steph Curry, San Francisco. Well, that's a little bit. Is that far from you, San Francisco?
Oh, it's just down the coast.
Yeah, you're in Seattle. Well, anyway, the way he's performing now, I mean, he's a little guy, but the way he's performing is a work of art, what he does with the basketball, dribbling and shooting. And so my question to you, May, is how can a person make their life, by using these principles, a work of art?
Well, I would call a work of art in a business or just a living session, because not all of us have athletic prowess. I certainly don't. I mean, I'm an athlete. I always have been. I used to compete in body surfing and normal, water sports. But I would not consider myself artistic as an athlete. But what I can tell you is that life without purpose is not very much fun.
Okay, wow.
You have to be doing something that you feel is a wonderful and remarkable use of your talents and skills, and that you feel that it's for something that's greater than just a paycheck. And I realize that all of us have to live, and we do need money, and we do need a paycheck. But somehow, some way, we can figure out what it is that really makes us excited and really makes us feel proud and fulfilled and satisfied because we're doing something greater than ourselves. Something that is the remarkable use of our talents. My purpose right now is to elevate prosperity and freedom in the world. I feel very, very strongly that if people can just learn a few things and change a few words. You mentioned Muhammad Ali, and he will tell you that repetition reaps rewards. When you're doing something repeatedly, over and over and over again, you're actually training yourself to believe that you can achieve that. So this daily practice with the right diet of words will help you achieve your goals. And I'll just give you one other example. One thing I hear, especially coming up to the new year, you hear lots of people talk about resolutions. And they'll make their goals at the beginning of the year. And a couple of things happen. They might use words like, okay, my goal is I want to lose 10 pounds, or I want to get out of debt.
Right.
I hear those a lot. But let's think about just those words. I want to lose 10 pounds. The goal is to be wanting to lose. Well, in order for that goal to be true, in order for your subconscious and intuition to kick in to help you to achieve the goal of wanting to lose, you always have to be 10 pounds overweight.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So a better way to word that goal is, I'm so grateful that I'm physically fit and trim and toned and energetic, that I'm healthy and happy in a pain-free body that easily goes on walks and hikes with my friends and family, and we have a great time. I feel so free. Or if you want to get out of debt, if your goal is to be wanting to get out of debt, again, you always have to be in debt to make that statement true. So a better way to word that is, I'm so grateful that I'm financially free, and I receive all the money that I desire or require to easily afford all of my living and giving and entertainment expenses, and more. So just changing those words, just changing the way you word your goals, and instead of writing them out at the first of the year and never visit them again, I want people to write them out every single day.
Ooh.
And if you do that, if you put your goals at the forefront of your thoughts every single day, and you should have at least one major goal in every area of your life, your relationships, your finances, how much money do you want, your health, and the use of your skills and talents in remarkable ways that are fulfilling and satisfying. If you have goals in those major areas of your life and revisit them every day, what's going to happen is intuition and your subconscious are going to show up in really obvious ways to point you towards making those statements true.
Now, I have your book here, and I'm reading the quote. It says, "We read to know that we are not alone." Can you break that down?
Sure. In the morning practice, there are 4 steps. The first step is to read something that's uplifting. And I find that if I read for 5 minutes stories about ordinary people having extraordinary experiences because they have a spiritual partnership. They have a partnership with this unseen source of intuition that knows everything, that's going to now be their partner. So you read for 5 minutes to put yourself into a receptive mood. Then you write out your gratitude letter that includes the right wording for your goal statements, and you spend about 10 minutes to write that out. Then you speak it. You actually pick up what you just wrote, and you read it out loud. And what every school teacher will tell you is that when you read something out loud, it anchors it more deeply within you. And remember, the goal here is to keep your realized goals at the forefront of your thoughts so that you can notice more possibilities all day long to make them true. So you read it out loud, and then you use a technique that maybe you use, Rick, in athletics. Most Olympic and professional athletes, including Muhammad Ali, spent a good portion of their training time doing mental training or imaging.
That's right.
So that last step for the morning practice is to see yourself in that realized goal. If you want a bigger paycheck, see yourself making deposits into your bank account of that additional money. If you want a healthier life, see yourself in that new outfit that you're going to buy that's the size that you want it to be, and how free you feel moving through the world in this beautiful, fit, trim body. And if you want right relationships, see yourself at the family gathering where everyone's laughing and having a good time and not in a state of stress.
Imagine someone imagining that they're in a basketball game and they're taking the winning shot, and they miss the shot. They're not going to imagine that. Or they're having a boxing match and they lose the boxing match. They're not going to imagine that. They want to imagine, like you said, winning.
Yeah, you imagine yourself in the picture, in your mind's eye. Imagine yourself in the realized goal. Like I had a goal where I was imagining a minimum of $400,000 in revenue to my new company. We needed to have that amount of money to afford, the supporting of our company during this period of time. And I was doing this daily practice where I was writing it down, reading it out loud, and imagining having that additional money into our account. And the strangest thing happened. I was in Cleveland on my way to a grocery store to go buy water and supplies for my hotel stay. And I got this really strong image to drive across town, an extra 10 minutes each way to a different grocery store. Now, normally I would have talked myself out of that. That's what Albert Einstein says. He says we have this rational mind that if something doesn't make sense, we just talk ourselves out of it. But instead, I followed the practice, and I just said, no, CSO, if this is something I'm supposed to do, make me feel confidence. Tell me that it's something I'm supposed to do. And sure enough, my intuitive mind that Albert Einstein also talks about kicked in and started saying things like, well, maybe everything you want will be on sale and it'll be worth the drive. And, what's the harm? It's not very late in Seattle, so you can't go to sleep right now anyway. You'll be awake anyway. So what's the harm in making the drive? So I made the drive. And as I was walking into the grocery store, a potential customer that I had met 6 months before was walking out at exactly the same time. We struck up a conversation, and this person was not returning any of my phone calls for an appointment for me to make a presentation. But since we ran into each other, we were able to agree on me coming to make a presentation, and that led to another presentation and ultimately a contract worth over $500,000.
Well, there you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Right. I would have never dreamed that if my goal is $400,000, that I would drive to a grocery store in Cleveland at 9:00 at night. Mm-hmm. That would not have been my even in the realm of possibility for me to achieve that goal, but it is for your spiritual partner. Things like this, these seeming miracles just turn into typicals. Stuff like that happens to you every single day if you do just your job, which is to focus on your goals, be grateful for them in advance, and follow the rest of the practice.
And for anyone that did not, weren't here in the beginning, CSO stands for Chief Spiritual Officer. Right.
Chief Spiritual Officer is the name that I give to my source of intuition. And what I ask people to do in the workshop is to come up with their own names. So they'll come up with names, God, Holy Spirit, Jesus, divine intelligence, all-knowing universal power. I had some that came up with the name Fred, and I don't know why. But whatever name you give it, it should be representing the most valued and trusted advisor. So whatever your idea is of the most valued, trusted advisor, then that's what you can name it. And I have lots of students that just call it Source of Intuition. Mm-hmm. And that's fine too.
Now, May, how important is it as a person of success to know how to treat other people?
Well, I'm a big believer.
All walks of life.
Yeah, I'm a huge believer, Rick, in whatever you are giving out. Whatever you are giving out and whatever you're putting your attention on, you're going to actually be receiving into your life. So if you're going to be critical of people or mean to people or give out something that you wouldn't want to receive yourself, guess what? You're going to receive it. It's going to come back to you. It just happens every time. And here's the other part. If you are spending time complaining about other people or focusing on their faults, that's time that you're not spending on receiving the things that you really do want.
Wow.
And here's what I ask people to imagine. Okay, I want you to think of your body as a vessel. And here you have this source of intuition that wants to help you to achieve more good things that you want in your life. But if you filled your vessel up, kind of like filling a glass up, if you filled it up with things that are not serving you, and you have resentments or unforgiveness or anger or jealousy or pain, and you've taken up room within you with those kinds of emotions, then there's no more room for you to receive anything that you really do want. So part of the practice at the end of the day is to give forth, to forgive, to give forth anything that is not serving you so that you can make more room within you to receive the good things that you want.
Wow. Now, I know you are a big proponent of gratitude. Is it possible for someone, now people might think I'm crazy for saying this, but I know you won't think I'm crazy, is it possible to have gratitude even when things don't work out the way you want them to?
I'm a big believer in, if you have a situation that comes up. I mean, Rick, we all live life. We all have situations that come up. I remember one time I got sued by a Fortune 20 company. That's a Fortune 20 company, which means they are worth billions and billions of dollars. And our little tiny startup company, you know, I went into a panic originally, and I felt like I was, you know, this was really unjust, and that they were so big they could squish us like a bug. And what I kept doing was saying, I know somewhere within this there can be a resolution for all of our highest and best good. I know that there can be. I know that what I need to do is really, really think about what this person's motivation was in suing us in the first place. There's got to be some good in this. And I kept using my practice, my daily practice, to describe a easy and quick resolution to this matter that works for everyone, and that all legal fees that I have to pay will be restored to us. So that was my goal with gratitude. And what ended up happening is I started to think about the person that brought the lawsuit and why did they bring it. And I started to have some compassion for them. They were scared. The reason they were suing us was not because we did anything wrong. It was because they were afraid that they were going to lose their supplier, because we both used the same supplier. Their supplier had just given them notice that they were going to cancel them. And part of the reason that they could do that was because they had us selling for them, and we were selling a lot more product. And I just knew there could be a good resolution where both of us could use the same supplier. And I kept writing that down, reading it out loud, imagining seeing this resolution, and that's exactly what ended up happening. This gratitude stimulated new ideas. And so I proposed one to the supplier. They thought it was a great idea, and they paid all of our legal fees, and the matter was resolved.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. May, let me identify ourselves.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rick Young. This is another segment of What's in Your Hand here at WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. And my guest today is May McCarthy. She's the author of The Path to Wealth, 7 Spiritual Steps for Financial Freedom. May, let me have your website.
It's maymccarthy.com. That's MaymcCarthy.com. And there's lots of information there. Great articles, great videos, places, events where I'll be speaking and teaching around the country. It's a great resource, and also ways to get in touch with me on social media.
May, are you a marketing expert?
That's what I was trained in. I got my degree in marketing.
The reason why I asked that question is because I'm looking at this book, and it's beautiful. The colors, the blue, the white, the orange, and the tree. And that's a money tree, right?
That's a money tree.
It's a money tree. It's the sky, the grass. I mean, it's an attractive-looking book. It's a beautiful book. I said, you know, I was talking to the bus driver today coming, and I showed her the book, and every time we got to a red light, she wanted to see the book. She wanted to read some of the book. On my way here.
I tell you, people are really hungry for it. This is stuff that really deep down, really deep down, we know is truth. We know that what we put our attention on, and what we talk about, and what we think about, and what we feel about is in fact going to manifest in our life. And it's really tough for us to get out of the habit of talking about things that we don't want. I mean, so many times you'll hear people, I don't want to be late, or everyone at the office or at my work is sick, I hope I don't get sick. And what happens? They get sick because they're focusing on sickness. So what we need to do is just really really focus hard and focus our attention, really get disciplined, and then it'll become a new habit. But get disciplined at the beginning that when you want to say something like, I hope I don't get sick, change your words. Change your words to say, I'm so grateful that I'm healthy. No matter what's going on around me, I'm so grateful that I'm healthy and filled with vitality and energy. So thank you for saying the book is beautiful, Rick. I didn't design that cover, but I did get a chance to approve it. The publisher that I use is the same publisher that people like Eckhart Tolle, Jack Canfield, Byron Katie, Don Miguel Ruiz, the Dalai Lama have used in their careers as well. And so they've got some great cover design artists there.
Well, they did an excellent job. I mean, it's a
Thank
beautiful.
you.
It's attractive. It's colorful. It's light. It's like it's glowing at you, and it's a great cover. I love the cover. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you. There's actually at my website, maymccarthy.com, there's a little 90-second video that sort of describes the book as well, in case your listeners want to go there.
I love Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn, he made his transition, but I met him like twice briefly, at one of his speaking engagements. And Jim Rohn, I was listening to one of his speeches, and he says, he got that funny way he talks. This millionaire was speaking to an audience, and he said to the audience, these are the books that I read that got me here. These books. So Jim Rohn says, how many people you think went out and got those books? And then he said, very few.
Mm-hmm.
Very few. So there are going to be people that listen to this program. You've gave some great information that people could use to help them be successful. One of the things I wanted to do, I wanted to have some success tips from May McCarthy that they could use to help them be. I mean, you gave me a lot already. You gave me enough. But if there's some other tips that you could give along with what you already gave that people could use, simple tips that they could use to help them be more successful.
Oh, sure. Well, first of all, if anybody does go to the website, maymccarthy.com, the first 3 chapters of my book, they can actually request to have those for free. And that will go over the 7 daily steps in the practice. So they can get started right away. And they don't have to pay anything for that. They can just have it for free. That's my gift. And then if they like what they read, certainly they can acquire the book if they'd like. But even just those free chapters will help them. And if I were to recommend that people do just 3 things a day, what I would ask them to do is to write down their goals every day as though they've already realized them. Describe what you're doing, describe what you're feeling, describe what you're experiencing. Don't use things like I want to be doing. What you want to do is describe it. I now have. I'm so grateful that I am healthy, that I am in harmonious relationships, using my talents in really exciting and fun work where I'm paid a minimum of X number of dollars. So write down your goals every single day. Read them out loud with emotion. And then imagine seeing yourself in your mind's eye in the realized goal. If you just do those 3 things every single day, what's going to happen is things are going to start showing up that you didn't notice before. People are going to somehow serendipitously walk into your life, and or you'll be invited to an event and you'll meet someone who might have a better job opportunity, or who knows somebody that's looking for someone that has your talents and skills and the job pays more, or who has an opportunity for you to use your artistic ability in really rewarding ways. I have this woman that I know who's a scientist. That's what she does for her job. She works in a research lab and she's a scientist. But what she really wanted to do, Rick, was she wanted to be on stage singing. And people had told her she had a good voice, And as she started using just these 3 steps, writing it down every day with gratitude, reading it out loud, and seeing herself on stage, it took about 6 months. But what ended up happening is she started changing inside to believe that maybe she really could be a singer. And once that happened, she got invited to different events, got to see how professional singers operate, and eventually was able to audition for a community review and got the job, her very first job. I think it paid $50, but she got to be on stage singing. That was the start of her being able to realize her dreams.
That's wonderful. May, believe it or not, we're at the end. Can you believe that?
Oh, my goodness.
We're at the end. So let me have your website one more time.
Okay, it's maymccarthy.com.
Yes. And I want to thank you for being a guest on What's in Your Hand, for being a supporter of What's in Your Hand. And did you get the card I sent you?
I did, and I got brownies. It was just wonderful. Thank you so much.
Wow. Great. Well, continued blessings to you. And I know your chief spiritual officer is going to take care of you. Continued blessings, May McCarthy.
You too, Rick. Thank you so much.
Thank you for a wonderful interview this morning.
All right. Well, have a great day. It's now about 5 in the morning here, so.
Wow. All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye-bye. Wow. May McCarthy. I thought that was a great interview. The Path to Wealth. 7 Spiritual Steps for Financial Abundance. May McCarthy. Go to her website and get the first 3 chapters of the book for free. MAYMCCARTHY. MayMcCarthy.com. We're getting ready for the next program. Tell me your name again. Tell me your name again.
Anthony.
Anthony?
My name.
Okay. All right. Anthony's coming up next. Okay, guys. I see you on Sunday. I got another great show lined up for Sunday. I'll see you then. We're in the 4th quarter of 2015. Let's make it happen. And please support the shows here at Whcr. If you want these shows to continue to be on the air, you got to support them. They know that you like the show by how you support them. Any financial support that you could give to these programs, the ones that you like, I hope you like What's in Your Hand, please support them financially. Go to the website and go to donation and pick the show that you like. And I hope it's What's in Your Hand or whatever show that you might like. I will see you Sunday. All right. Let me get ready for the next program.
WHCR 90.3 FM, New York.
If you got a ticket for pot possession or anything else and missed your court date, the city is giving you a chance to resolve your warrant without fear of being arrested.
Every Tuesday from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m., the 125th Street Farmers Market offers to the public farm fresh, locally grown fruits, vegetables, eggs, baked goods, apple cider, vegetarian food, wine, and delicious cold-pressed fruit juices. Vendors include Alex's Tomato Farm, Trinity Farm, Red Jacket Orchard, Bread Alone, Nevin's Farm, New Yoga Pitha Vegan Food, 3 Measures Vegetarian, and Protein